From We Run With You, I'm Kathy Witten.
And I'm Rob Alvarez. Welcome to Season 3 of Doing Good. In this episode, we talk with Andreea Penisoara.
In this heartwarming conversation, Andreea shares what it's like to navigate the fear and uncertainty of an AVM while fiercely supporting her daughter, Julia, an AVM survivor and TAAF youth ambassador. This episode offers a beautiful glimpse into the love, challenges, and unwavering support that helps family move forward through the unknown. Hi, Andreea. How are you
Hi,
this
guys.
morning?
So
Good
good to
morning,
see
Rob
you.
and Kathy.
Yeah,
Good
so
to
glad
see
we're
you.
able to finally connect. I thought I'd just jump right into it and ask you if you could take us back to the day you found out that your daughter Julia had an AVM.
Yeah, it's a very, very sad day. Pretty much, like so many of us, right? It's just the beginning of a different life, pretty much. It's like the life before we found out and the life after. So, my daughter Julia, was 16 and we just dropped her off at a birthday party in September of 2021. And about 30 minutes later, we got a loud bang on our door, and I instantly knew something's wrong. You know, it's like that mother instinct that you're like, my child's not home. Like, what is this? So I was afraid to open the door. My husband did, and it was the father of the girl that the party was taking place at, telling us, you need to run to the emergency room. Your daughter's being taken there right now. And it was the biggest shock of my life, right? So I don't know how I crawled out. My husband had to push me. I was on my four, hands and feet, trying to get out of the house. And when we got to the emergency room, it was really, we had to wait for over an hour and a half for the doctor to come and tell us, we're so sorry to tell you, your daughter had a big hemorrhage. That's what they called it then. And that was a very new word to me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you do essentially know what a hemorrhage is, but I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, she has a really big brain hemorrhage, and didn't really even use the word stroke. We just learned a few hours later, and we're trying to figure out why, but your daughter's not well. Like, we don't know if your daughter's going to make it. And it was the biggest shock, because 30 minutes earlier, we just dropped her off to the party. So it was, from there, it was just a complete nightmare. For the next 3 months, she was in the hospital, and she was flown into Stanford, and they had to do 5 brain procedures to keep her alive. She had 2 craniotomies and 2 embolizations, and so they discovered she has a very rare brain disease called an anterior venous malformation, or short for AVM. And also had many, 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 many aneurysms. So one aneurysm exploded. That is what happened when she had a stroke. The malformation was deep in the brain, in the thalamus, which is pretty much the relay center. Tells your body what to do, to feel and see and move and all those important things. So it was a really, really deep in an inoperable area. So that was the first time we found out of, and learned what a stroke is, what an AVM is, what an aneurysm is. They had to go in every week through her femoral artery and perform embolizations and seal aneurysms. And every 3 weeks in a row, and every day they would find so many. They would say, there's just too many to count. Like, we are just feeling aneurysm after aneurysm. So it was really, really the hardest time of our life. We just lived pretty much in fear the whole time. And 3 months later, we brought her home in a different state. We just learned to pick her up from bed and put her in a wheelchair, because she lost all the language. Essentially, she didn't remember not one letter.
Oh, wow.
She didn't know how to even. She would look at me and point, and not. She wasn't able to speak and say "mama" or anything. She had right side paralysis, or right side hemiplegia. So her right side was paralyzed, and obviously in the beginning she wasn't able to eat and swallow and liquids and all that. But by the time we got her home, she was able to at least eat, and she was still on thicker liquids. But we're doing much better on that regard.
For you, in those first 3 months, what do you think made the biggest difference in getting through that, or how did you get through that?
I don't know how I got through. I think I was just taking it really just every second at a time, every minute at a time. I really found my way back to spirituality, right? Back to God. I was doing the only thing I could, pray to God to save her life. We rallied a lot of people across the world to pray for her, and we felt we felt that love. We felt that there is like a presence in the room no matter what, even though the room was always cold and with so much bright lights, right? Because she was pretty much in the ICU on and off, but for a very long time. But I learned to do whatever the nurses were doing. So when they weren't in the room, I could help. Obviously, nothing medical, but in the first week when she was in a coma and they didn't want her brain to swell, they were saying we need to keep her on this ice bed constantly, and the ice bed was icy.
I never heard about that. That's
and
new.
The ice bed was really, really, really icy, and it broke my heart because my daughter's already. I mean, there is no connection, right? When your person is in a coma, it's just you're terrified on the other side. That you don't know what they're feeling. They're not telling you that. There's no way for you to find out. You can only imagine. You do know how you're feeling. You're the most terrified you've ever been. But, they were saying we don't want her brain to swell, so we'll keep her on this ice bed, and we have to take her temperature every, 15 minutes. Maybe they said every 30, but I think I was doing it every 5 minutes because I did not want her body temperature to rise past 37, It'd be like, no. There's no way. If she needs more ice, I'll be here and I'll get it colder, And I would touch her body and she would be frozen and, underneath. And it broke my heart because I was thinking, yes, she might not feel this, but I know I'm always cold.
Yeah.
And just the fact that would be under her, and yes, it kept her, safe from her brain swelling more than it already has. But it was tough, but I learned to do things like that. I learned to be really aware of what everyone's doing, of, her skull, half of her skull was in a freezer, and you can, I knew that she cannot afford, a fall off the bed or anything. So I was hyper aware of, are the rails up at all times, or just in case, just things like that. And really, I just got to work as much as I could in there. It's like I got into action. I never left the room. I was there like a manager. I know, I was like, no, she just has this. She needs that. It was okay. I mean, I didn't interfere with anyone, but still, when I saw something go wrong, I said it. I learned to really speak up more than I ever had in the past, and I prayed. We prayed. That's all we could have done. Just pray the whole time, and I was also vulnerable the first time, and I actually started sharing her story. I wish I had time to do more than that. It was just too much going on, but every few days I would update people on Facebook, and then you realize how many people do care. They do want to come together. So we felt that. I wish I recorded more of those things, every single day. I wish I was like strong enough to just say, this is what's happening, or even record more of moments with her in the hospital, just for us to have. But we were too traumatized.
I'm exactly
in the beginning.
I'm exactly the same, because that first week in the hospital, I was like, no, I'm not taking any pictures. I don't want to remember any of this. I don't want any record of any of this. And then, luckily her niece was, with me like the whole time, and she would sneak like videos or pictures of her. And
so the pictures that you see me upload every now and then, clearly they were not from Rob. They were all from my niece. And I do want to say that it was, I can't relate in terms of how you felt, because I was on the other side of the situation, but I can relate in the sense where, as a parent, as a mom, you see your children, obviously in a state of so vulnerable, and we don't know the outcome. But I can relate in the sense that you get hyper aware, and I feel like our coping mechanism is that we want to make sure that we learn how to do what the other staff members are doing, so that just in case if they're not there, we can catch it. Or but just being hyper aware, and just making sure that we are going to be able to step in, just in case, and not to give anything away. But 5 years later now, right? It's been 5 years since
it's been 5 years this year in September. About 4 4.5 years later.
But like I said, not to give it away, but when we saw Julia for the first time, well, in you as well last year, I have to say, I would have, if I had never heard about what happened, I would not believe anything that severe had happened to Julia, because she was such a vibrant, articulate young woman.
Yes.
And I was like, and so hearing you describe what happened, you'll see if you look at the video again, like my eyes are popping out and I'm like, what? It's just tremendous how she has recovered. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to you, because I'm sure there will unfortunately be more parents out there who may have to deal with this situation. And it's good to let them know that yes, it was more than tough on you and your family, but at the end, there is this light. And that's what I wanted to ask you too, is when was a moment where you felt like, I think it'll be okay? Or she will be okay?
My husband always says that he had a feeling all along. He said, I don't know, I just felt it in the room all the time that she will be okay. I think I felt she was gonna be okay by the 5th brain procedure. And then, our world kind of shattered again because Julia suffered a very rare complication. After too many embolizations, they used her femoral artery to go in the brain, and she developed a blood clot at the site where they went through, and almost died again. She was rushed into an emergency bypass surgery. They wanted to amputate her leg. Had to beg them not to do it. They said, it's already paralyzed. And I didn't want to believe it because at that point, I still didn't know where my daughter stands. We had no idea, like, if she'll ever walk again, if she'll ever, use her hand again or any of that. So I didn't want to believe. I didn't even know what paralysis looks like because she was in surgeries in and out, so you don't really know. She's just really on the bed the whole time. But I think by the 5th procedure, I was like, okay, she'll be okay. And then this happened. And for me, it just, I don't know, it planted this little thing of like, oh, you can never, ever be 100% sure or feel that you're going to be okay. Cause look it's like out of nowhere, like life could just be taken away from you in a second when you least expect it, So it took a very long time after that. For me to be okay, to know she's okay. I think when about 3 years in, I think I started feeling more relief. We slept every night, checking on her vitals. She would always have a pulse oximeter connected to a tablet at the door in her room, connected to our phones. We have an anti-seizure device and all those things that they would alert us right away. Still, we would wake up every hour to check on her, to make sure she's breathing, to make sure she has enough oxygen, to make sure she doesn't have a seizure. So I don't really know if I ever really felt. By the 3rd year, I said, okay, I feel like maybe we're better. And then she had a grand mal seizure in front of us. And it was the hardest thing after the stroke of seeing happening. It's like she seized for 12 minutes. She turned purple, and it just like it's in front of you again. It's happening. You don't know what to do. You're scared. You just want it to stop and never happen again. Took another close to a year for her to just recover memory that she's lost just from having this grand mal seizure. So it's like every event she's had in the brain is like a little bit of a step back, and now we have to work harder at recovery. And it's just with a lot of work. But last year, in the summer of last year, we got news via angiogram and after gamma knife radiosurgery that Julia had at UC San Francisco. We got news that the AVM has been obliterated, which was our prayer every second of the day, every day. So that made us exhale a little bit. So we're a little bit better now, but I don't think for me it really left me. I'm not, I feel like maybe this year I'm starting to live life with purpose and goals like other people are, to where I'm like, okay, now we can look into making some small achievable goals that don't have anything to do with just recovery, which is still continuous, and it will be there. But now we're like, okay, well, now we can maybe take more flights because we're not so worried of flying to a place where maybe there's not a brain surgeon close by, or, like we feel a bit more comfortable in that regard. We don't wake up every hour now. We just wake up every 2 hours,
Yeah.
It's like, it's better.
Yeah.
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
I have, I feel a little lighter.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say that. It's like
yeah.
it's almost like it's like for the first like 3 years, you always had your guards up, As you were describing all these surgeries back to back and the episodes that she had, I was just like, gosh, I feel like this is like you're in like a boxing ring. You're getting punched one after the other, but somehow you still manage to get up. But then again, it causes you to continuously keep your guards up, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? You're always going to wonder when is that next punch going to happen. But it's just so extraordinarily unbelievable how many times you had to get back up. And that's just, to me, that just shows how incredibly strong you are, like mentally. That I don't know. I always say, I don't think I could ever do that. I mean, in terms of like seeing my child like that. But another episodes that we've done, and perhaps you've listened to it with Alejandro and her daughter, I said, I don't understand, or I just cannot put myself in that position with parents who have to see their children go through this every day. But that's the thing about being a parent is, you have no choice. You have to just put on your big girl pants, and you just have to get through it because it's your child. And I commend you for all of this. And I can see that vulnerable side of you when you talk about Julia and what happens. But I also see such phenomenal strength. And I think the most important thing is that you didn't feel alone. Is that true? Or can I say that? Because, when you did share what happened, and you did feel like, the prayers are coming in, and just the presence of positivity, I guess.
I would say it varies. You do feel alone many times in your story, right? It's if you're not talking to someone like you guys, or that has gone through like through something similar, if you're just surrounded by family, friends, community members that have never heard of anything like that, you do feel alone. You also feel alone fighting insurance and medical stuff, because everyone, we live in such a wounded world right now, left and right, and it's like everyone needs something, and people don't have time to listen to your story and look deeper. It's like they just want to go to work and do their job, and so you do feel alone in those moments. And but once you can find your circle, or the people that you can be vulnerable with, or the people that ask you, how are you today, and really mean it.
Yeah.
And you don't say, I'm good, because I was not good, and I am not the one to fake it. I just can't fake it. It's rare that I'm saying, I'm well. Yes, sure. It's like, do you have time? Then I will tell you about it, So it's like, if there's a person that's asking me how am I, and has the time to listen to it, then, I learned to do the same through this story, through our experience. You know, you really want to connect with other people's experiences because that informs how you can live your life as well, you know. So I sit and listen, and nothing is heavy for me. Like, I want to hear it all, and I understand it's hard for a lot of people. They don't know how to approach or the subject, or think that is heavy somehow. It's like, no, we already know. We've been through it. We're going through it. Like, you're not damaging by reminding us what we're already in. I feel for us, maybe there are other people, but for us, for me in particular, is like, I love the people that are vulnerable and open and look you straight in the eye and make you feel like, I'm here just for you and what you have to say right now for the next 30 minutes or an hour of our life. So when you have those type of people, you don't feel alone. You feel seen, right? And heard. And sometimes all you need is just someone to listen with those kind and open eyes. I don't need anyone to fix it because, you know, it's like we learn, you know, we learn. There's no fixing. There's just hold the space for the person near you to be themselves and tell you whatever it is going on right now, even if it's hard, you know. The good times will come eventually, you know. Eventually. I hope that one day I will get back to who I was slowly, but I'm not sure I even want to anymore. Just, I think tough experiences really make you better at everything, you know, at listening, at better human being, just like the butterfly, right? It's like spends its time in the cocoon and really struggles to get out, and after that, this beautiful butterfly.
That's such a great
like
analogy.
The struggle is what the butterfly needs to go out and shine and give us hope. And it's crazy because we loved butterflies growing up, both Julia and I. We had this sense of everywhere we see a butterfly, we'd like, if I ever had a choice of drawing something, it would be a butterfly. Or, you know, growing up, you know, you go to parties, what do you want on your face? I want a butterfly. And it would be like both Julia and I a butterfly, and just have been connected to butterflies. And we found out after the AVM that the symbol for the AVM is a green butterfly. And so for us, really, that is hope. And just it reminds us that, hey, you're gonna get through something really, really hard to get out of your cocoon and make it out. But there's hope. You know, you'll make it through. So yeah.
So now 5 years since then, especially I think at her age is kind of the big, to me, transformative age, right? The big age
Very.
of formation and heading into adulthood. What is your, I guess today or nowadays, what is your hope for Julia? Or your dreams for her going
My
forward?
dreams is that she continues to be just the incredible force that she is. She is a beast, I swear. You cannot slow her down. She is at a university online as of right now, continues to strive, just straight A student. She's never had a B in her life, so she's like, I refuse anything. Like, I will continue to get straight A's, and she works really hard. she has so much determination. We put in the work and provided all of that for her because we want her to get better, right? So we want her to progress a lot more, even though her hand is not where we want it to be at, her foot is not where we want it to be, you know, she's lost vision. There's a few things that are going to continue, and there's going to be many hundreds and thousands of hours of occupational therapy and physical therapy and speech therapy. I know she has the determination. Like, she wakes up and is diligent about, you know, if she needs to get up at 5 and drive 2 hours to a facility center for physical therapy that's only 45 minutes, then she will do that, even though we're 4 to 5 hours on the road. You know, she'll sit for 3-4 hours in any type of rehabilitation process, and she pushes so much, and we can see is that drive helps her, you know, and she's extremely positive, and just a kind, well-mannered individual that now has learned how to be a better female as well, you know. And she's wise beyond her years, and she's just amazing. So I just wish that she continues to have good health, continues to progress, that all of her dreams will come true. And I know that doesn't come easily, and it probably will come with a lot of hard work for us, you know. Hopefully there's going to be a little bit of luck in there, you know, but we learned in our experience, dreams do come true if you put lots and lots of hard work into it. And I just hope we're going to stay connected for the rest of our lives together. All this have made us just stronger. We're a stronger family unit. So many people go through something like this, and, you know, their marriages fall apart, or they're you know, and somehow my husband and I made it through. That's a testament to who we are, you know.
Probably you're stronger for it too, you know?
Yeah. But there was just, you know, there are some knowings that, you know, you're like, hey, I know that we'll be there for each other no matter what. So we will be there for all of us at all times, you know. That's a knowing. The same way we know God is God. That's a knowing that we will never leave your side. Like, we'll always be here. Well, you know, God willing, we're healthy and on this planet. Yeah.
I mean, I for one, when we were at the TAAF walk and heard Julia, you know, speak in front of everybody, I was very impressed. I was like, wow, she is an impressive young woman, regardless of whether or not, you know, even if you don't count what she's been through and what she had to go through the last, you know, 5 years or 4 or 5 years at the time.
What I wanted to say also, and not to sound cliche or anything, but how appropriate that we are interviewing you and having this candid conversation in the month of March, which is also Women's History Month. And I think with what I've heard so far, and is that you truly do embody what Women's History Month shows, and it's resilience, it's advocacy, and it's compassion. And I really heard that today. And
thank you,
and I want to say that it is, I'm not going to go on too long because I'm going to ramble and I'm going to start breaking down, but I'm just still in awe of everything that you said and you shared with Julia's journey so far and yours as a family. And this whole time I kept thinking, oh my gosh, this she is what this month represents, is Women
Oh,
History, in addition to, Brain Injury Awareness and Brain Awareness Week, which is actually this week. Tomorrow is the last day. But yes, I do want to say thank you. Just simply thank you for sharing this. It
thank
means
you
so much.
too.
One more question before
Of
we go to the
course.
rapid fire to close
Okay.
it. But what was the path to, I guess, advocacy and getting involved with TAAF for you guys?
So when we were in the hospital, um, as traumatic as it was, you learn to, okay, AVM, what is this? Like, you don't know it. The doctor explained it to us 5 minutes. I mean, it was medical.
Yeah.
Medical talk.
jargon. Yeah.
It's like
I was
English,
like,
please.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And there's no way you could actually be present in those moments. I mean, you learn to be, but there's just a fight between fear and just being there, right? So I started looking for AVNs and aneurysms, and at the time I was using Facebook because that's the only platform I had. And even to this day, I would say that's pretty much the one I use the most. I guess I'm old, my daughter would say. Mom, people don't go on Facebook. Well, I still am. So that's how I found out about some groups, and that's how I came across TAAF. And every single time I had a few minutes extra, which I didn't, but I got in touch with Dina somehow. I didn't really, to be honest, we didn't talk much while I was in the hospital. I think she was busy at the time. I really didn't focus on that because I was focusing on Julia the most. But after we came home, I would say 6 months after, I reached out to her first to tell her, hey, I heard that you could help by sending us to get more opinions, different opinions about AVM. Because when you're told that your daughter has a life-threatening disease that you obviously know it almost took her life because you were in it for 3 months, and it says it's inoperable, it's grade 5, is right in the deep in the brain, you live in fear, So when they're telling you there's nothing we could do other than probably this gamma knife surgery, this is the only thing we can move on with treating this AVM with. And yes, you kind of want to know more. So she's the one that recommended us to UC San Francisco, which we ultimately had Julia do the gamma knife radiosurgery, and she ultimately was, diagnosed AVM 3 years later. That's a whole different story. We could do a whole podcast, but I would say it's through people in our communities, right? That you just learn, because whatever you're posting or you think it doesn't make a difference, it does to somebody, Every one of us going through this is going through a beginning, or a very, very beginning where you're just learning of that, So we spend a long time, maybe a couple of years, just trying to understand aneurysms, understand AVNs, understand stroke, still don't know it 100%, but we know a lot more than other people in our situations do. We're not medical doctors, obviously, but we're the recipients. Like we have it in our family. So that's kind of how we got involved. And then the first year after Julia's stroke, we went to walk for the TAAF, and we also spoke. And we've done it again after year since then. In September, September is really hard on us because it's the year where Julia's stroke happened. I mean, the month in the year when Julia's stroke happened. So September is always but September is usually the tough walk. And I don't know if you noticed that, but there are so many people that have a stroke, or, a rupture in September. Like, I have no idea why. So I just put it together in my head that it's universally that's when it happens more for some reason. I don't know. Maybe people go after summer and straight to, go, 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 and stressful. I don't know. I'm just making it up. But there's a lot of people that I noticed, that the stroke, like Julia had grand mal seizure in September, not only her stroke. And I'm like, how is this happening? So, I personally know other people that, had a stroke in September. So, and I know you didn't. So I'm not saying they're all
But I was
happening
born
in September.
But I was born in September. So
You're born in September.
I'm born in September, and September is actually Brain Aneurysm Awareness Month. So one of my physical therapists actually told me, she's like, it was meant to be, Kathy, that you were born in the month of brain aneurysm, and that's why you're such a big advocate for this community. It was just meant to be. And then, my aneurysm ruptured in March, which is Brain Injury Awareness Month. So the correlation is, it's wild, but it works for me. It works for me.
Yeah. So going back to TAAF, Julia is also an ambassador for TAAF.
Okay.
She was a youth ambassador for TAAF. So that's kind of how we got involved. She is a bit more than I, but life is so hard at times. You sometimes disconnect for months at a time, and then you put a little bit more work in, and then you're a little bit more connected, and then you kind of, life takes over again. But it's just the very safe place, to, especially in September. It's like we're looking forward every September to go and be there with survivors that share their stories and walk, and just to be in a community where you feel like a shared experience of life. So we really love that. The same way, if we were closer to you, we would walk more marathons. I don't know. Or I probably would not do a marathon, but
there is an 8K. There is an 8K.
Or just be like me and just cheer on the runners.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Just cheer from the sidelines. Yeah, if you would be closer. But so great that, even in Texas, the Joe Nickel Foundation, it's like everybody is just, everyone matters, because you will have people there in your community that are closer and that you get to know, and then you spread the word out there and then we meet sometimes at one point in time. We're bound to meet for sure. So I'm so grateful that that this is real, and it's bringing us together. And I hope we see you again in September sometime too, because isn't it a great feeling too to walk there and just listen? Yeah,
I hear that a lot with former present TAAF walkers, we want to call them. It is a day that they absolutely feel, they look forward to, and I can relate and understand why, because you're with your people, you want to say, because they have lived in your shoes, or they have gone through what you've, and so it's almost like you don't even have to say it out loud. It's just you can hear it in their hug. You can hear it when you see them again for what seems like a lifetime. But it's tremendous what the TAAF Foundation. Okay, Dina, if you're listening to this, we're giving you so many shout outs. But yes, it's foundations like TAAF and BAF that are so crucial to, you know, anyone wanting to learn more about what potentially could happen. But yeah, it's I think it's a day where you're with your people, you're in the club of like-minded people who just want to be there for one another. And I think that's important. I think I think just knowing that there is a day out there, one day out of the year, it kind of like gets you through it, you know? You're like, yeah, I want to, it's one day closer to XYZ. Like for me, it would be, you know, the Philadelphia Marathon, which we would love for you and your family to join us one day as well. But I will, you know, we're not going to hold you to anything, but
No, but
we will
we
hold
might
you to,
surprise you.
yeah, but we will hold you to, you know, cheering for us that day, whether it's
Yes.
virtually or in person.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes,
love
yes,
cheers.
Yes, yes.
So it's time for rapid fire questions. So
My
Okay.
favorite.
first thing that comes to your mind to answer these questions.
Okay.
When life gets overwhelming, what do you do to reset or clear your head?
Breathe.
Breathe.
Like remove myself from whatever I'm doing if possible. If I'm at home and I need to remove myself from a room or a situation, I'll go straight to my bed, lay on it, and either rest. But first thing, just breathe. Breathe. It's crazy how many people do not breathe.
Yeah.
You know, they really actually sit and suck air in and exhale it out and sit through the actual breath. I had to teach some older friends of mine that I love to death to breathe, and I realized no one's breathing. Like we don't take time to breathe. Like it's just a feeling more than like do it a certain way. It's just something you have to decide for yourself. This is where I'm, but that's what I'm doing first. Breathe.
Where would you say is your quote unquote happy place?
Ooh. Happy place is always with my family. But the happiest is probably anywhere there's really good music that I could dance to or sing to. We are a very musical family. We love music. We used to have Friday night parties at our house, as in just us in the living room dancing, you know, just putting music on. And I would say, you know, going back to when you asked me, when did I know she's going to be better? I would say this year is the first time I started putting music more often. I mean, you could hear our bass. Everyone on the street is, you know, in the house.
I'm gonna call you next Friday. I'm gonna call you next Friday and ask you, are you having like a dance party?
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
That's the best. Yes.
What is your advice to someone who may be going through the same thing that you've gone through or that you went through with Julia?
I would say be aware, be alert, but be gentle as well, and try to stay present as much as you can. Have someone near you at all times. I was lucky to have my husband at all times near me in the hospital, so we didn't leave the room at all. I mean, if we needed to use the restroom, one of us would stay there. And I think when you have medical situations like most of our families do, I think it is important that we stay there. To just really pay attention. And don't be afraid to sit through being hard. Um, don't say I'm okay, it's okay, I'll deal with this later. It's like deal with it moment by moment.
Yeah.
Like I stay in the present moment and feel everything you need to feel. If you need to cry, sit down and cry. If you need to scream, go out and scream. Find a safe place where you could do that. Find a person that really gives you a tight hug that you need, So, because that's so important. I feel like good huggers are
Yeah, they're like
a
they're
godsend.
healers. Yeah.
They're like, I don't want someone that just goes, ooh, ooh. I'm like, somebody hold me.
Yeah.
Hold me right there. And it's just like there's a relief in that.
Yes.
There's such a relief. But stay present the most. Just stay present and don't think of even an hour from now. Like we did not take it more than minute at a time. We felt all that. It was hard, but it was the only way to get through. It was like you can't think of anything else, It's like just take it moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, and surround yourself with people that you can be vulnerable, that have earned that trust, that you could sit with them and tell them all your hard things, and they could take it, and they're not gonna one up you with something. Oh, you should see me when I had this going on, or they're just sitting there in your, and then if you have those type of people, release them out. Like really, it's important. Like it's important to let the right people in your circle when you go through things like that. And many families have family members or friends that are, hard. They think they know how they should deal with this, and maybe it comes from a good place where they think they are helping, but you're not, if you're not really listening to the person in front of you that's going through what they're going through. So
Okay,
I feel like that's
last
sorry.
one. Do you have a life motto? And if you don't, what would your life motto be?
Ooh, life
Just
motto.
like one sentence life motto.
Well, I always say what you mean and mean what you say. That is always. When I say something, I hold myself responsible. If I write it down, then I'm double responsible, and I make sure that I write it down so that I have two contracts right there. The one that I wrote down, that I said it and I wrote it, and the verbal contract and the written contract with myself. So I'm always aware of that. Like if you said you're going to do something, do it. And if you don't, so unless it's an emergency, and I'm sure there were a few times in my life where but I hold myself responsible on the majority of the times, because that's how I like to live my life. And when I say something, to me, like when somebody is telling me something, I'm just like, okay, I'm expecting they're like me. And then I realize not everyone's like me. Because when I say something, I'm like, if I said that's going to happen, it's going to happen, because I'm going to really do it. I'm going to hold myself responsible. So I would say that is one of the,
Really
yes.
good.
Thank
Andreea,
you.
thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. It's I for one is found it very inspiring, and I think a lot of people, a lot of our listeners and our community is going to take a lot of value from it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. It's such a privilege, and it's so good to see your beautiful eyes and beautiful smiles, and I love your haircut.
Oh, thank you.
One red head to the neck.
Yes. We Run With You is a nonprofit with a mission to improve the lives of people suffering from brain injury and disease by funding research, raising awareness, and providing support for survivors and their families. Find out more at werunwithyou.org. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a comment or review. Until next time, keep doing good.